Hey, what's up? Today I simply want to answer some of your questions. Now I will be reading them off on my phone, so if you see me staring at my phone, you know why. Let's get into it. Oh, and also, if I shorten a question or amend a question in whichever way, then it's really just to make this video as short as possible. Let's do this. Oops. Okay, question number 1. Hey Nina, this is a lovely photo. Enjoy your time in Istanbul. I really enjoy all your videos and have learned much from them. Thank you so much. I'm really thrilled to hear that. How about doing a video with your partner? Or maybe he wants his privacy to be respected. Whatever you do is great for all. Now I like to keep private matters private. And that's why you don't see any of my friends, I think, on my Instagram photos or too many people in my videos. And while my partner may or may not appear on some of my Instagram photos or in some of my videos, I do like to keep those things separate. And I also don't think that it would add value to anyone's life, and I like to keep it that way. Did you go to college/university and why not? Also, if you went, what did you study or did you want to study? I haven't been watching your videos for that long, so maybe you talked about it already in the video. Thank you for the question. Yes, I did go to university. I studied media and communications consulting for 4 years. And I went because I just really wanted to study and it was pretty inexpensive. I paid 365 euros per semester. A year has 2 semesters, so there you go. I studied it for 4 years. And while I would have previously said that I would do it all over again, today I would say that I wouldn't. Why? Because these days everything that you could possibly learn, with a couple of exceptions, is pretty much available online. And for what I do, if I would have to do it all over again, I definitely wouldn't. I would not want that traditional format of studying. Even back in the day, it wasn't quite my thing. I think I would prefer to learn remotely at my own pace, and you can do that these days. Back in the day, that wasn't really the case. Today, you have those options. I'm just not one to enjoy going to university. It was never really my thing. I really just wanted to learn, and that's why I went to university. And I also wouldn't have gone if it would have cost a lot of money. So if I would have lived in the States or lived in the UK or wherever you can live where studying is expensive, then I definitely wouldn't have studied. I hope this answers your question. The next question is, do you use essential oils on a regular basis? And if so, what oils do you use? That's a really good one. Now, the number 1 essential oil that I use all the time on a regular basis is tea tree oil. I love tea tree oil. I use it whenever I have a pimple. I use it directly on the pimple, although that really depends on your skin. Just make a little patch test. It works wonders for my skin, and I really love it. And other than that, well, there is one more essential oil that I use whenever I'm sick. It's oregano oil. I use this whenever I'm sick, and I'm not recommending it to you. Why? Because I feel uncomfortable recommending essential oils because everyone's different. So do your own research. Oregano oil is what I take when I'm sick. That's really the only thing that I take whenever I'm sick. It was a recommendation by a friend of mine. I've been taking it ever since. And, well, I'm not sick on a regular basis, so I really only take it a couple times a year, and I absolutely love it. Again, do your own research, see if it works for you, see if it does something for you, and if it does, great, and if it doesn't, well, so be it. I personally just really enjoy using it. So tea tree oil and oregano oil are the 2 essential oils that I use all the time. And you may or may not know that I also made my own soaps back in New York City, and I plan to do that again. And for making soaps, I obviously also used heaps of essential oils, and I don't really have a favorite for making soaps. I do, however, have a couple that I would use whenever I make soap. On a regular and daily basis though, tea tree oil is definitely the one. What are your best tips for developing self-confidence without makeup? I've actually recently ditched my eyebrow powder because I ran out of it. I didn't really find a replacement because I was using one with solely natural ingredients, and those can be difficult to hunt down. And now that I haven't used it for quite a while, I actually don't miss it. And I also feel like that my brows are growing better than they used to. Anyway, back to your question. What are your best tips for developing self-confidence without makeup? I'm actually gonna make a separate video about this because I think it's such an important topic. I used to be very insecure without makeup. I wouldn't go to parties without makeup, and I wouldn't meet certain people without makeup, and now that I've not worn makeup in so long, I just find it so ridiculous in retrospect. However, I obviously totally understand my behavior back then and what I did. I just wouldn't do it again, if that makes sense. And I actually stopped wearing makeup when my skin was at its worst. I had the worst breakout I ever had, and I was just like, screw this, I'm done with this. I'm no longer wearing makeup because I simply wanted my skin to improve, and it did. It did pretty much the minute I stopped wearing makeup and the minute I made some dietary changes. But again, I'm gonna make a separate video about this because it's, for me personally, just a really important topic that I think needs to be talked more often. And this is going to be the last question for this video. Did you grow up with pets? If so, do you miss having animals around while you're traveling? If not, would you like animals when the traveling stage of your life is over? Yes, I used to have a pet. I had him until I was 10 years old or so. I left Lower Austria and moved to Vienna when I was around 7 or 8, and my dog stayed in Lower Austria, and he then eventually ran away. When I was 10 or 11, I believe, I loved him to bits. He was my age. We grew up together. We spent so much time together. We played so much. I loved him. And I haven't had a pet since. And do I miss having animals around while we were traveling? I don't, because I haven't had a pet for such a long time. I'm 27 now, and as I said, I haven't had a pet since, well, the age of 10 or so. If not, would you like animals when the traveling stage of your life is over? Well, my partner would love to have a cat. I would not want to have an animal. I don't think of this as a stage in my life. I've always enjoyed traveling. I will always enjoy traveling, and I wouldn't want a pet because I think it would just not be compatible with the life that I'm living, with the life that I want to be living, and so I wouldn't want to do that to a pet, if that makes sense. And while I do like animals, I don't feel the need for a pet, really. I'd rather see them out in the wild, roaming around, and I'm not one to go crazy about, domesticated animals, if that makes sense. Okay, that was it for all your questions. I will do a second part of this because I didn't want it for this video to be too long. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any more questions, then feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Have a lovely day and see you guys next time.